Welcome to the Genius Talk podcast. I'm your host Atul Raj from the bestemailmarketer.com, and today we have Fong Chua with us. Fong, thank you so much for joining us and welcome to the podcast.
Hey, thank you very much for having me. It's always a joy speaking with people like yourself who's making a difference in the world and adding lots of value to your audience. So thank you for very much for having me.
Yes, it's awesome. Okay, for our listeners who don't know you, can you tell them who you are and what do you do?
So again, my name is Fong Chua and I was born in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. My main thing right now is I do real estate investing. I coach people in real estate. I also help people increase their exposure, increase their value, and also gain credibility by helping them with regards to book writing and speaking and podcasting and all that kind of stuff. So that's just a snippet of what I do.
And you also do personal business coaching, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you talk about that?
Well, when it comes to business coaching, it has to do with how are you adding value? How are you putting your services out there? The thing is, when you create something, people don't just he created something or they created something. Let's go. You have to understand how do you get the exposure? How do you get the make the impact? How do you connect with people? How do you actually spread the word so that people think of you first and increase that credibility? Which is where sometimes I come in, helping them with regards to their speaking, their social media, their book writing, and all that kind of stuff.
So, what are the core principles behind your engineering your success approach?
Well, it's one of those things where everybody has a little bit of a different background and also different goals, right? So when I helped engineer their success and help them with their business goals, I go through and ask them, hey, what do you want to do? What's your goals? How do you want to do it? And everything is kind of personalized to them by what are they comfortable with? How much can I actually push them to achieve different challenges and different goals that they have set out for them? And sometimes maybe presenting them a challenge that they may or may not have even thought of doing. So for instance, I've worked with some clients who goes, okay, I really want to do this, but I really don't want to put myself out there. And I go, well, if you don't put yourself out there or you don't put out the word, nobody knows that you're doing this. So then I may challenge them with doing some speaking or challenge them with writing a book or challenge them with creating a podcast and all that kind of stuff. And things like that, sometimes they don't even think about doing that at all. They think that, okay, if I just put my head down, create a product, people will come. And that's not necessarily true. So I help them push through those fears and help them push through that mindset and create certain products or create certain content so that they're able to reach out to a larger audience.
So you emphasize mindset for success. Okay. So what daily habits or belief system do you coach your clients to adopt?
Well, so my background, we were talking about this backstage. My background is engineer. I was born and raised to work hard in my job and be in that job for basically the rest of my life is what I've been taught to do. However, during the downturns of economy and all that kind of stuff, I realized that, hey, being an engineer for the rest of my life may or may not be the option. Oil and gas goes down and therefore economy goes down and therefore engineering jobs go down where I'm at in Alberta. So that's when I started pursuing different things. And when I started pursuing real estate and business and speaking and all that stuff, I quickly realized that my upbringing did not put me in the right mindset to do that type of stuff. So the first thing that I had to do is really change my mindset, change what I feed my mind on a daily basis so that I start tuning in to the same frequency as what entrepreneurs and business owners and real estate investors tune into. Because if I don't tune into that frequency, it's very difficult to go out there and see the opportunities. So for instance, if I say, hey, right now is the worst time for you to go out there and buy real estate and invest. And you could go out there and go, wow, it is. It's really bad. Look at all the for sale signs. But at the same time, if I say right now is the best time to invest in real estate, you can go out there, wow, look at all the for sale signs, right? It's the same information out there, but the frequency is different because you're tuned in differently. So mindset is so important. And when you say, what do you do on a daily basis? I highly recommend people to do daily mind feeding on what they want to be good at and what they want to learn and mind feed on the people that you want to become. So if you want to be a real estate investor, mind feed on real estate, learn more about real estate strategy and techniques and different deals and listen to some of the biggest real estate investors out there. How do they make multi-million dollars on luxury homes? And the more you listen to that stuff, the more you start seeing that stuff around you. And if you do that on a daily basis, eventually you'll notice that as you go outside and you start asking different questions. I wonder why that is being sold for, or I wonder why that person is not selling. Then you start asking those questions. And when you start asking questions, you start gaining more information and knowledge. And then you'll never know where you're going to get. Because if you keep on feeding yourself with information that is usually at a higher level, then
Mhm.
you're going to reach higher levels that you've never even imagined that you can reach.
You know what? Like, I have a property near a bus stand, and we're not doing anything with that. Okay, so so and on that property, like all the surrounding areas are full of hotel. Okay, so what do you think? What we should do?
Well, I guess my first question is that property that you have actually making any money?
We're not doing anything. It's been vacant from
So it's
I
just
guess
sitting
20,
vacant
30
there
years.
doing absolutely
Yeah,
nothing?
yes, it's just a boundary. It just covered from all side. That's it.
So it has a house on it though. It has
Nope, nope, nothing.
oh, so it's
Plain
just
land.
bare land.
Yes.
Well, I guess you could ask yourself the questions, what do you want to do with it? Do you want to sell the land? And I'm assuming since you've been holding that land for so many years, you're going to make
Yeah.
money on that land. But
Yeah.
once you sell it, that's it. Okay. Or do you want to build something on it? You have to find out what the zoning permits are. What are you allowed to build on that land? Is it a single family home? Is it a duplex? Is it a fourplex? Is it a complex? I don't know how big that land is, right? Then you start going, well, if I do build something, you can create passive income and have revenue come in on a monthly basis for a long period of time. And this is an asset that you can then pass on from generation to generation to generation, as long as you want to maintain it. But obviously, you have to do the numbers, right? If you build a single family home and rent it out at market value at in that location, what is the rent that you're bringing in? Will that offset the cost? And if that offsets the cost, does it justify the amount of front money that you're putting in to build something?
Okay, okay, but actually we cannot build a rent house there because that area no one is living. I mean, people are living, but only for as a hotel, like staying there for 1 2 days, those kind of things.
So, in other words, you're saying the zoning in that area does not allow you to build a house.
No, it is possible, but I don't think people are gonna do that.
Well, yeah. So there's a lot of questions to be asked before you can actually have a solid plan in place, right? So you're telling me, okay, well, you could build something, but people may or may not want to build that. Well, why don't you want to build it? What can you build? Is it maybe you could build a commercial piece of property where you could have a business in there, or maybe you could build a storage unit. I don't know because there's so many questions to be asked and so many opportunities that can be done with that piece of land depending on what the rules are.
Yeah, I think we could do storage unit because we were thinking about that few months ago. Then we life got happened and we got busy and then we forgot.
Well, like the thing is you have to consider, okay, what are you going out of pocket right now when nothing's happening with it, right? And there comes the point in time where you're going to be out of pocket on a monthly basis paying for whatever taxes and maintenance for that land that you go, you know what? This isn't worth my time. This isn't worth my effort and worth my pay. Maybe we'll just sell the land outright. And somebody might be willing to buy the land and you'll make money on that land. Or potentially you could use that land and go joint venture with somebody else who could build something on it and you become a partner because you supply the land.
That sounds good. Can you give me some examples of what kind of joint ventures we can do?
Well, basically you find a partnership that works. And the thing is finding partnership that works sometimes is the most difficult thing because as a lot of people know, problems start with names. There's always a name that's associated with a problem. It's always people problems that create issues, right? So finding the right partner will be the biggest task for you if that's something you want to do. So when it comes to joint venturing or partnering up with somebody, well, you basically have to negotiate and kind of find out what is the goals of all parties, right? I'm assuming the goals of all parties is to build something, an asset that would make money for everybody and then come up with okay, where's your exit strategies, when do you want to buy people out, if you want to buy people out, what happens if, like, there's so many if ands or buts. But you could create a joint venture or a partnership with somebody where you come in and go, I will provide the land, you provide all the general contractors, the building, and all that kind of stuff, and then we'll see how much is the land worth versus how much of time, effort, and materials is this person coming in with, and then seeing, okay, is it 50-50? Is it 60-40? What is that split that you want to do on this joint venture or partnership? And then you move on from there. But before any of that stuff happens, you need to have a good, really tough sit down discussion with whoever your partner is to go, okay, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if that doesn't go according to plan? What if I want to buy you out? What if you want to buy me out? What are those exit strategies and potential issues that may come up during a partnership before anything starts?
So, no, I have some idea what I can do. Okay, so what's your approach to building powerful networks and partnership in business?
I would say putting yourself out there as much as you can for conferences, workshops, get togethers, and whatnot. First, you have to put yourself in environments where successful people are. And when you say powerful connections and powerful relationships, where are these so called powerful individuals at? So, for instance, there's a lot of charity events out there that you could go, hey, I'm going to join this charity. Potentially, you could network with the people around you. You could go to these business conferences. In fact, I'm going to a business conference in November, and that is a place where over 2,000 people is going to gather from like all over the world. And we're going to be talking about businesses. We're going to be talking about AI. We're going to talk about real estate, but we're also going to meet some really A-list celebrities and multi-billionaires and whatnot to listen to them and see how they were able to achieve success. And when you're in that environment with like-minded individuals and you're able to connect people and you're able to connect with other people and really build that relationship and maintain that relationship for a long period of time, that's how you build that network. Lots of people go into these conferences and these networking events. They show up, they stand in the corner, they don't do anything, and they go, oh, it didn't work. I didn't meet anybody. Well, yeah, you didn't talk to anybody. So once you go to these places, you have to connect with people. And when you do connect with somebody, make sure you follow up with them, because there's a lot of people that go out to these networking events and goes, hey, it's great to meet you, and after that event's over, you never hear from them again. You can't foster a relationship with like that. So for myself, I make a point of meeting as many people as I can at these networking events or conferences, and then when I talk to somebody and I find that there's a good rapport there, I would take a picture with them. I would post our picture on social media so that at least I know I remember what their face is and what their names is. I connect with them on social media, so now I'm connected with them. But right after the event, I would probably email them or message them and go, hey, it was great chatting with you at the event. Remember me, kind of thing. And then, hey, let's jump on a Zoom call or jump on a virtual call to get to know each other a little bit more, because it's so difficult to build rapport at an event when it's very noisy. Everybody's out there talking, excited. It's hard to remember everybody. So then now you can have a one-on-one sit-down conversation with them and really build that relationship and get to know each other. Which is another reason why I have a podcast as well, similar to yourself. It really allows you to build that relationship, because it's one thing to go, hey, let's jump on a call and let me pick your brain for a bit, or hey, let's jump out for a lunch and let me pick your brain for a bit.
Yeah.
More likely than not, they'll say no, because they start thinking, wait a minute, my time is worth more than a lunch. And why am I spending time just to chat with you to see what we do, kind of thing, right? But it's another thing by saying, hey, you know what? I think that you are doing such amazing things and you're adding so much value to so many people out there. I love your concept on real estate, or I love your concept on business and how to grow. I would love to interview you on my podcast because I think your message needs to be heard by more people. And all of a sudden they're like, ooh, you want to interview me? Sure, why not? And then now you have them for another hour or so, and you can ask them questions, build that rapport. And then maybe if they also have a podcast, then you might be a guest on their podcast, and you start building that relationship, right? So it's one of those things that I find very, very helpful, having a podcast.
Yep, I totally agree with that. Okay, so can you share tips for collaborating with high-level individuals and maintaining a win-win relationship?
Well, with high net worth individuals, the one thing is you need them more than they need you. So you have to constantly find a way to add value to them. What is it that they need most? And we're talking like billionaires, millionaires that you want to connect with. How do you get noticed? So if they are if they are launching a product or if they're launching a event or a book on social media, make sure that you are talking about it. Hey, everybody, this book just came out. It's great value. I think you would love it. Get it now. Or I just bought 10 of these copies and I'm giving these copies away to my best friends and all that kind of stuff. How are you going to get noticed by these high net worth individuals? Because if they don't notice you, then it doesn't get anywhere. And it's going to be very, very difficult for you to reach out directly to them and chat. You might want to try, but it's very unlikely that they will respond. So what other ways can you do it? First of all, again, on social media, you tag them, you share their content, you promote them and all kind of stuff. But then also get close with the people around them. Get close with the people, some of their best clients. Become friends with them or build a relationship with their closest clients. Build a relationship with their closest staff members or closest partners. And when you start knowing them a little bit more, all of a sudden you're within the sphere of influence that they start noticing. And you go, who is this person that's been constantly talking about my stuff or promoting my stuff? I want to meet this person. I want to talk to this person. So how do you add value to these high net worth individuals? When it's celebrities and all and those of the like, maybe it's a charity that they are hosting or a charity that they created. Well, donate to that charity or
Yeah.
create an event that ties in with that charity. And it's usually charity functions or some kind of fundraiser that then you might get noticed. But again, how do you add value to them for them to notice you? And it may not be one to one, right? You may have to do XYZ so many times before you even get noticed. And you have to do it a little bit more before they even reach out. It's one of those things where you need them more than they need you.
Yeah. Okay, so can you share an example of a breakthrough story from any of your favorite coaching client?
I had a few where so book writing is one thing I think that a lot of people should consider. It's one of those things where when you have a book and you've written it, it gives you a sense of credibility in front of other people. It's one thing for you to say, "Hey, I'm an expert in this, but I also wrote the book on this." And depending on it really doesn't matter how many people has read that book, but once you have written a book, people go, "Oh, you're an author. You must know something," kind of thing. It also helps, for instance, getting on podcasts and getting speaking engagements by saying, "Hey, I do this, but I'm also a best-selling author of that." So I had a few clients who never understood the importance of branding and credibility, and then go, you know what? A lot of it is in the eye of the beholder, right? What you present out there and how they perceive it are two different things. The more you present yourself as credible, then more likely that they will start seeing you as a credible individual and start thinking of you first. So I'll go, okay, if you really want to do this, I think you should write a book about your expertise and start talking about the contents of your book. Okay. Then from there, you may want to start doing video series and start talking online and start creating a podcast about that topic. Now position yourself as an expert and also interview people who are also experts in this topic. That sets you up as an individual who's connected in this environment and also who's able to collaborate with different people who are experts in this environment. And all of a sudden, people start seeing you as a person who's expert in this area. So trying to get that into the minds of people who aren't brought up in that mindset was very, very difficult. And something as simple as writing a book, I had somebody who, right after they wrote the book, all of a sudden they go, "Oh, wait, I just got asked to be interviewed on this radio station. Oh, I just got asked to speak in France and Ghana." I'm like, wow, that's incredible. And their book hasn't even been released yet. All they were doing is telling people, "Hey, I'm writing one." So it's one of those things that you never know where things will get you until you actually go out and try it, right? So some of my clients have achieved so much great success because they followed the book writing, they followed the podcast creating, and also started doing more speaking engagements, and they started realizing this is how I get noticed, this is how I get credibility, this is how I get my word out there to more and more people. Because if you don't do any of that, it's very, very difficult to get yourself to stand out and get noticed where everybody else is fighting for the same clientele. Let me ask you this. Ever since you started this podcast,
Yeah.
how much has that changed your mindset and also changed your how people perceive you.
I get like positioning is better, and apart from that, I learned so many things. Yeah, so many things.
Well, yeah, that's awesome, right? And that's a lot of, and like I said, it allows you access to people that you may or may not think you would have access to. After you interview somebody, you go, "Wow, I thought that was a great interview. Is there anybody else you could recommend to be on my show?" And then you connect with different people that you may not have had a chance to interview, right? So, and all of a sudden, your credibility goes up because people start thinking of you first. Hey, this person
Mhm.
has the Genius Talk podcast. Let's listen to it, kind of thing, right? And maybe you go, hey, since he's connected with so many people, he must know something himself. Let's have him speak on our stages, or let's have him as a guest on our show and all that kind of stuff. So people start seeing you differently just because you started a podcast. And
Mhm.
I tell a lot of my clients, I'm like, starting a podcast is actually not that hard because in the end, all you really do is ask one question and go, interesting. And then as they are talking, you're trying to
Yeah.
think of your second question. And then you ask your second question, and you go, aha, very interesting. Right? It's the person who's being interviewed that has to come up with
Uh-huh.
the content to answer your question. So it's actually not it's actually really easy to start a podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Who are your ideal clients?
Well, my ideal clients are those who's just starting out in their entrepreneurship or would like to break out of their day-to-day jobs and start doing some kind of entrepreneurship. Either starting a business, how do they gain credibility? How do they build that what do you call it? Build the network of people and get that exposure so that people start thinking of them or start seeing them. Right. So those
Mhm.
are the type of people I work with most, or those people who are thinking about, hey, you know what? I would like to start investing in real estate or start investing in certain businesses. How do we start? Those are my ideal clients because I help them kind of get started. I help them start thinking about what not to do, what to do, some of the pros and cons, and what are some of the risks that you're going to take if you're going to go with this property versus that property. Right? It's very similar to when you are asking me, well, what do I do with this piece of land? Well, we kind of just brainstormed a few things, and all of a sudden, hey, wait, a partnership might be an idea to go with. However, there's lots of risks with partnerships because every problem starts with a first and last name. So the thing is, by giving you that potential solution, I'm also telling you, hey, here's some of the risks that you might be encountering. So consider those risks first before you do anything else.
Okay, so for our listeners who want to know more about you and want to get help from you, where can they go?
Well, they can find me on my website. That's fongchua.com. They can also go to my YouTube channel, which is Your Area TV, and then also my podcast, which is the Peak Potential Success Show. So you can find me on those platforms.
Okay, that's awesome. Okay, Fong, thank you so much for spending some time with us.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Yep, it was really great chatting with you.
Awesome. Thank you.